According to the US Surgeon General, loneliness and disconnection have become a real public health problem. In recent years, about 1 in 2 adults in America reported feeling lonely. But here's the plot twist. You didn't get abandoned. You chose to cut people off. You saw the notification. You saw the name. And something in you went, not today, not anymore. And the scary part? You don't feel lonely. You don't feel broken. You feel peace. So, when did it start? When did you become the person who walks away and doesn't look back? Because you weren't always like this. There was a version of you who tried so hard. The reliable one. The I'll be there person. You picked up at 2 a.m. You answered the long voice notes. You played therapist with no salary. You made excuses for people who didn't deserve them. You listened to the same problems, gave the same advice, watched them ignore it, then come back again like your energy was unlimited. And you kept giving because you thought, if I'm good enough, they'll finally treat me right. Until one day, you didn't pick up, and the world didn't end. It got quieter, and your body went, oh, this is what calm feels like. That moment wasn't weakness. It was your nervous system doing its job. There's a concept in psychology and trauma work that explains this in a simple way. Your body has modes. One mode is connection, talking, laughing, trusting. Another mode is protection. And when you've been drained too many times, your system stops asking for permission. It pulls you back. It chooses distance. It chooses quiet. Not because you're cold, because your body learned people equals cost. And here's the question that matters. Where did you learn that closeness comes with a price? For a lot of people, it starts early. Maybe you grew up in a house where you had to read the room to stay safe. You watched faces. You listened for footsteps. You knew the mood before anyone spoke. Maybe love felt unpredictable, like you could do everything right and still get blamed. So you adapted. You became the peacemaker, the fixer, the one who stays calm so nobody explodes. But that survival skill has a hidden side effect. You learn that being close to people means being on alert. So later, as an adult, when someone gets too close, your body doesn't think connection. Your body thinks, here we go again. So you cut them off. Not because you're broken, because your younger self wrote a blueprint called Distance Keeps Me Safe. Now, let's get really honest. There is a difference between protecting your peace and building walls so high nobody can reach you. Because isolation can hurt you too. The Surgeon General's advisory points out that poor social relationships are linked with serious health risks, like a 29% higher risk of heart disease and a 32% higher risk of stroke across multiple studies. So, yeah, connection matters. But here's the part nobody says out loud. Being surrounded by the wrong people can damage you too. So, how do you tell the difference? This is the simplest way I've ever heard it. Walls block everyone. Good, bad, maybe, all of them. Walls are built from fear. Boundaries are selective. Boundaries are built from self-respect. If you cut someone off and felt instant relief, that's data. If you cut someone off and felt peace, that's not loneliness. That's protection. The real question isn't, should I let people in? It's, who deserves access to my life now? And if you're the type who cuts people off, you're usually not doing it randomly. You're doing it because you became a pattern reader. You notice things fast. You notice who only calls when they need something, who disappears when you need support, who gives compliments with hidden insults, who makes everything about them, who drains you then calls it love. You don't need 10 betrayals anymore. You need one familiar feeling, and you go, I've seen this movie. So, no, you're not heartless. You're trained. You learn to protect yourself before the damage gets big. And that's why a lot of people misunderstand you. They see you alone and assume you must be sad. You must be lonely. You must be depressed. But there's a word that fits what you're describing better. Solitude. Loneliness is when you're alone, and you hate it. Solitude is when you're alone, and you can finally breathe. Loneliness is absence. Solitude is peace. You're not sitting there begging someone to text you. You're sitting there thinking, wow, my mind is quiet. Your phone is silent, and the silence feels like safety, not rejection. That's a huge difference, but this part matters. Solitude becomes a problem when it turns into numbness. So here are 3 quick signs you're protecting your peace in a healthy way. 1. You still like people, you just don't like chaos. 2. You can connect with the right person, you just avoid the wrong ones. 3. You feel calmer when you're alone, but you're not afraid of closeness forever. Now, here are 3 signs it might be turning into a wall. 1. Everyone feels unsafe, even good people. 2. You assume rejection before it happens. 3. You want connection, but you can't tolerate it. If that's you, don't panic. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means your system learned distance too well, and it can learn safe connection again, slowly, with the right people. Here's a reframe that can change your life. You don't need a huge circle, you need the right ones. The Harvard study of adult development, one of the longest-running studies on adult life, keeps landing on the same idea. The quality of our relationships matters a lot for long-term well-being. Not the number, not the popularity, the quality. So, if your circle got smaller, but your nervous system got quieter, you're not failing, you're evolving. Maybe you didn't lose people. Maybe you stopped losing yourself. So, if you're watching this and thinking, is something wrong with me because I cut people off? Hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not cold. You are not heartless. You are not incapable of love. You're someone who learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to your energy. And instead of letting that lesson turn you bitter, you chose peace. That is not weakness. That's one of the quietly strongest things a person can do. If this felt like permission you didn't know you needed, comment peace.